Right, guys, come up the step there, Dom. Get in together.
Look nice and fuel told.
No, not at all. I'm not used to it. I'm not that small. A bit short really. Right, wait to see if anybody jumps on and joins. I suppose we can start off, Dom, with just a few thoughts. Of course, we've just witnessed Newcastle 1, AC Milan 2 in the Champions League. As Newcastle went for the win, they let European football altogether slip out of their hands from being in a winning position. 31 minutes to go and second in the group due to Dortmund doing what they had to do. Things went from, in the space of around 25 minutes, things went from Champions League's last 16 to out of the competition altogether.
Yeah, disappointing. It's sad really, but Newcastle left everything out there and went out of Europe trying to get into the last 16 of the Champions League, and for a decent spell it looked like they could do it, because Joe Linton, who I thought was incredible on the night, gave Newcastle the lead. Really good goal. Newcastle really dominant in the first half, probably should have got more than the one goal they did. Then second half it didn't quite click in the same way. Christian Pulisic then grabs an equaliser for Milan, and the momentum sort of swings in the game, sort of dies a little bit. But Dortmund have I know you weren't too interested in that Dortmund PSG game, but Dortmund were beating PSG, then PSG equalise, and then Newcastle have a go. They're having a real good go at it. Bruno Guimaraes has a really good effort saved by Mike Maignan. Fabian Schär trying to burst forward, trying to find that winner, and then AC Milan catch Newcastle out on the counter-attack. And just like that, European football comes to an end. But I have to say, I mean, you join that unwanted club, as you say, Liam, following finishing bottom of the group, but Newcastle have give it a right good go and shocked us. Really gave PSG a scare into one of the best clubs in Europe. They've had to really get through by the skin of the teeth in the end, and it was an incredible evening of football really, because so many different things, there were so many variables heading into the last 10 minutes. Both games 1-1, and any team other than Dortmund who were already through, could go out, and it's just so annoying almost that Newcastle, for all the efforts of a team who lose out on European football, because they've really made an impact in this group, but 2 defeats here at St James's Park, which you'd think Newcastle's home form is such that the results at St James's Park would have been enough to at least get them Europa League football, but yeah, 2 defeats here ultimately sees them go out, and it's a little bit of it's not a silver lining at all actually, but at least you can take that decision at PSG, that 98th minute penalty. They haven't gone out because of that. They've gone out because they were giving it all and trying to win a Champions League game and get through to the last 16.
And that's essentially it, isn't it? Sorry, the unwanted stat that you hinted at there was that it's only the 5th time an English team has finished bottom of a Champions League group since Champions League group's first group stage in particular, since they came in the early 90s. Manchester United, of course, did it last night for the 2nd time. Man City and Blackburn going to the mid-90s, or the other teams to have done that. This is Newcastle United's lowest Champions League group stage points tally with 5 points. I would say in the end, Newcastle United almost flirted with the idea during this group that they could get out of it for periods, mostly at the start, and then just this last day as well, at the very end, the last 2, that almost in the middle it felt like they were almost probably going to finish bottom or third bottom. Eventually they have. It kind of felt like for a large part of this group.
It's been a roller coaster.
It has. It's been ups and downs, and ultimately ends in a down. I can't, like you say, in many ways, it's a tough one to sit and analyse now, because there is a bit of emotion. I think everybody's flat, disappointed. But they gave it, they did give it a go. It's probably just like a sense of naivety, like we were talking about before, that's maybe meant they haven't been able to get through in this group.
And a bit of quality at key moments as well.
Yeah, I think quality in key moments. I think if Newcastle need to take their chances, even in this game, if they take their chances, then they probably end up getting through to some form of European competition. And they just didn't. They didn't take their chances in the last home game here against Dortmund at home. They didn't take their chances away from home. And you can always look at these things and think, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But look, I think Newcastle ultimately, I think when all the dust settles on this, I think they will probably feel like it's ultimately a fair result in many ways, that they haven't probably quite had the quality of the other 3 teams in this group. And although they've, like I say, flirted with the idea of beating them all and giving them all a good game at times in games, really they probably haven't quite. I mean, they've been beaten at home here off AC Milan, and probably they've only played for 45 minutes. The other 3 halves against AC Milan, they've been probably thoroughly outplayed largely, haven't they? I mean, AC Milan, despite getting totally bossed in that first half, hit the post 2 times in the second half. Probably could have scored another 2 or 3 as well at the end, as such is the game, the way it goes. But they gave it a go and they just came up short. Who would you say were your positive performances out of the game, and maybe some ones who might look back upon this game with a bit of regret?
Yeah, I think the big one is Joe Linton. Didn't deserve to be on the losing side tonight. He was almost grabbing the game by the scruff of its neck at times, scored that goal that you thought gave Newcastle half a chance of progressing, and was kept trying. His forward driving runs from the midfield really helped put Newcastle on the front foot and give them some onus going forward. It's just not to be in the end. I thought Tino Livramento had a really good first half, same with Louis Miley as well, but both players just dropped off slightly in the second. Louis Miley was eventually replaced. Wouldn't want to call out any players in particular. I think Callum Wilson will be slightly disappointed. He's played Champions League football now and really not had, well, he hasn't scored a goal and didn't have a sniff tonight. Probably should have scored in the home game against Dortmund, but yeah, his Champions League opportunities almost gone begging. And then Martin Dubravka had nothing to do except pick the ball out of his net, and now he's played 3 games. Newcastle have lost all 3, and yeah, he's conceded 9 goals, so it wasn't at fault for any goals tonight, I would say, but just disappointing for him. And I guess the 2 defenders as well, who were playing well until probably the final half hour of the game, where Fabian Schär charges forward, to be fair to him, in an attempt to try and get a goal, and then out of position, AC Milan catch him on the counter. Jamal Lascelles just couldn't get anywhere near the 2 goals that were scored. So yeah, defensively it wasn't a great second half for Newcastle, but I think Joe Linton can be proud of his performance, and Louis Miley as well, being the youngest ever player to grab an assist for a Premier League side in the Champions League. So it's always a positive stat.
Yeah, it is.
Some negative evening.
So let's, before you head off, because you're going to go and speak to Eddie Howe now,
Yes.
Before you head off, Champions League, like sort of group games, the whole experience as a whole with regards to Newcastle United, their performance in this, to me it very much feels like you reflect back on 2012-13, Manchester City's one of their first forays back into first time into the competition, and they flopped to finish bottom of their group. Kind of feels like a bit of a learning experience maybe for Newcastle United. Bit of naivety here and there, bit of poor game management here and there, and bit of poor quality finishing in the final third maybe cost them a place at least in the Europa League, I think. Yeah,
it's fine margins. You can almost look back to every game really. I mean, PSG, that dodgy penalty decision. Dortmund, both games really, Newcastle had chances. That Joe Linton header at the Signal Iduna Park, if that goes in 1-1, different type of game, and Newcastle potentially get a result in late on against Dortmund here at St James's Park, hitting the bar twice. Anthony Gordon, Callum Wilson both coming close. And then tonight, Miguel Almiron has a big chance early on. Fikayo Tomori, I'm not sure how he kept it out really. You said Miguel Almiron's not so one-footed, that probably is a goal.
So that's the thing. When I looked at that chance, like if he sweeps that in with his right foot,
he had to leave.
Yes, go on, you shift off. I'll go through. Don's away there. We'll go see Eddie. I'll pan around of where we're doing this live from. As you can see, thanks guys for joining in the conversation. You see people gathering down here at some of the press pack to speak to some of the players, some of the TV cameras, and you'll see the TNT Sport team there. Who is it? Jimmy and Janice, Laura Woods, and Rio Ferdinand, just lining up to finish up the TV coverage that you might also have on in the background of the Geordie Journals as we're speaking. Right. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming on to this live. What I'll do now is I'll jump in the comments and see what you guys have had to say before rounding up. And of course, as you know, we appreciate you all jumping in the comments, appreciate your interaction, and also we will be doing a full analysis of this game, a longer form video. Probably it may well go up later tonight, but it may well go up tomorrow, where we talk about the Champions League the competition in general, Newcastle United season so far, and a bit of an analysis as well. Paul Charlton, thanks for your comment, mate. Gutted. Yeah, I think everybody can share that kind of feeling. It has been a disappointing night. Beauty and beyond, bad game management. Yeah, I can feel that as well. I kind of hinted at that myself, that I think you could manage a game better, but the only caveat I would say to that is, do you dare to dream, or do you dare to, do you hold on to a Europa League place? I think we were making a point. I think if PSG were winning 3-0 in Dortmund, you probably would just try and hold on to the ones each and try and make sure Newcastle United do get a Europa League spot. But the way that it was finally balanced in that game, I think they had to really go for it because they wanted to finish second, and why not? I don't actually criticise too much the attitude in that respect. Black and White Sheep, proud of the lads, feeling very flat. I think your point will be shared by a lot of people. We all feel flat, I think. Probably everybody watching this now. Thanks everybody for joining in. I see you guys, more and more people joining. Keep them coming, keep the comments coming. Captain Kiefer, completely had enough of Miggy, upgrade desperately needed. Look, I think it wasn't Miggy's fault why we didn't win tonight. He probably could have took away that chance, as me and Dom hinted at before. He works really hard. I thought defensively he was actually really good today, but it's that attacking sense and that final third, that decision making and that finishing that does let him down. So I can't argue with it. Tony C, all our hard work wasted. Look, it wasn't wasted. The guys gave it a go. And they will be back, I'm pretty sure. Black and White Sheep, small step too far at this stage of the project. I 100% agree with that. We've discussed that in the past before. Marco 4863, most of the lads gave it their all, but I'm going to criticise Lascelles. If you played in defence, you'll know what I mean. I do think, look, come in, argue with us if you want, Marco, but I think that's very harsh. I mean, we'll have to see the goals again, but I really don't think Jamal Lascelles was the reason why things didn't go Newcastle's way today. Right, who else we got in the comments? Keep them coming, lads and lasses. Ian Hart led the Bravka, letting 9 goals in 3 games, 7 in 2 games in the Prem, half of the total tally for the previous 14. Look, we knew it. He's a big step down, big step down from Nick Pope. We've known that all along since Nick Pope stepped in. What can you say? I mean, he hasn't been to blame for a great deal of these goals, but a lot of what Nick Pope gives is a confidence and assured command and presence in that behind that back four, and I think they really do miss that. Jack Chater, no finger pointing, lessons learned, and we'll be back stronger. Yep, I do agree with that as well. Might not be next season, but I think it will be in the not too distant future. Daniel Kane, feel flat but proud in the game. Not sure we had to go so open. But like I say, I think they dared to dream. I genuinely think they went for second place instead of just accepting third. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I say, if the balance of the other game had been in a totally different way, then I think they probably would have settled for third. But they didn't. It's not the mindset that they had. That will count. Goldfish brain behaviour in the final third. Well, you can't say it's not really been the best of times in the final third. The 72 Godfather, can't blame Eddie. Ian Harper just not have the depth. We did not have the depth. We move on. Captain Kiefer, Isak. What you want to talk about Isak? He probably didn't really have the impact on the game that I'd hope he would have. I didn't actually disagree with playing Callum Wilson ahead of him today because I think he's looked a very tired individual. And look, hopefully he'll be better for it at the weekend. Look, it's not been the night any of us wanted. Thanks so much for everyone getting involved. Like I say, keep an eye out. Do press that bell for all your Geordie Journals content straight to your devices. Click on that, comment, share and subscribe. We'll be back with a bit of a longer form video. Thank everybody who jumped in the comments. Thank everybody who watched and liked this video. Really appreciate your feedback and the interactions. But yep, final plan. This is a bit of somber St James's Park this evening, but it is what it is. What can we do about it now? Newcastle United are out of the competition, out of Europe altogether. But I can't really criticise them too much for that second half approach where they tried. They aimed for greatness and fell well short in the end. Right guys, I really appreciate this. We'll be back, like I said, with a bit more of a longer form video. So do keep an eye out for that. We'll speak to you soon.